Welcome back YouTube. My name is Dennis Panuta for tutorials.eu. A very fundamental functionality in Unity is the functionality of components. And components are a super powerful tool. They allow us to add functionality or looks or physics to an object. So for example, our player has a transform component, he has a sphere component, sphere collider, mesh renderer, rigid body, and so forth. And those components, they add functionality and looks to our player. That's a very important aspect that you need to understand, because every time that you want to add, let's say, a different kind of behavior. So let's say now we have player movement, but what you would like to have is player shooting so that our player can shoot. Then you would create a new component, and that would be a scripts component. And you would create a new script, or even here, new script, and you would create a new script here. Then you can have different components added to your object. For example, you could add effects, so a particle system to your object, or you could add even more physics, because so far we have only our rigid body, we have our sphere collider and those kind of things. And what if you wanted to, you could add even an additional collider to our sphere. You could add a box collider. So as you can see now, our player has two different colliders, the box and the sphere collider, and that's a new component. You can add components as you need them, and you can remove those components anytime. And what you also can do is you can copy components and add them to a different object. So for example, if I would like to have this player movement component in a different object, I could copy that component here, copy component, and add it, for example, to our game object. So in here, I would press there and paste component as new. So press this little button here at the top, paste component as new, and then you have the player component here as well. Well, it doesn't make sense for that game object, so I'm just going to remove the component again. Then if you would like to change the order of your components, you can simply move them up, for example. So if I want to move this up, this player movement component, I can press on move up, and as you can see, this action can break the prefab instance. Yeah, are you sure you want to continue? And I'm just gonna use cancel. So let's do the same thing with the prefab. Let's go to our player and let's move it up now. So as you could see, now it wasn't very happy with changing that. So if you want to move something up, for example, move a component up, do that with your prefab and not with its instance in the hierarchy, because that player here is not the same as that player there. This is the prefab, and that one is the player itself. So if you make any changes to your player instance within your hierarchy, you can apply it. So let's say our player here has its player movement control component here at the second lowest spot or third lowest spot, depending on what you consider as a component. And that one has a speed of, let's say, 100. So our player prefab has a speed of 100. Our player itself now took over that, but we could change it here. So we could change the speed of our player to 20. Our player prefab, however, would not be influenced by that. So let's have a look at that. If we want to apply this, so if we want to save the information that we have changed in here and save them to our prefab, we need to click apply. All right, so that's really important. If you want to make any changes and apply them, press on apply. And now our player prefab itself will also have the speed of 20. All right, so that's about components and a bit more on prefabs.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe and like the video.
We'll grow in number, fueled by